Hey guys, it's me, Orangienblue, and I've heard the request. I'm finally gonna take a look at LEGO Indiana Jones. LEGO Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. I love crude humor and violence.
LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars released on March 22nd, 2011, 5 years after the second game. A lot has happened in this time for LEGO games. The entire formula was changed, and LEGO Harry Potter used 5 to 7 and Pirates of the Caribbean. Most of the gameplay stayed the same, but the way the game looks and functions is completely different. The front of the box art isn't too bad, but then I get to the back and I start to have a lot of questions. Like, why is Darth Vader and a Jawa on this AT-ATE when Vader is only an unlockable character at the end of the game and Jawas aren't even in the game at all? Also, it pains me how they use the old Grievous minifig on the back of the box art and in cutscenes, when in the game, it's the newer style. The manual is pretty boring, just black-white, so is the controls. But wait a sec, what's the game like?
I don't know, let's talk about Indiana Jones.
He's got a funny looking hat. LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars follows the first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars TV show.
I thought it was about Doctor Who.
It's a bit unfortunate it's only the first 2 seasons. Those are arguably the most boring seasons of the show. However, you don't start in the Clone Wars level. The first level is the Geonosian Arena from episode 2. Yeah, I'll probably have to name my second kid that. It's a pretty cool level. You just plow through these battle droids, and with it being the start of the Clone Wars, it makes enough sense for it being here. After that, you're transported to the hub, which is a Republic cruiser. I honestly don't know how I feel about this hub. At first, I thought it was small, but then I started to unlock new parts of the ship, and found there was a lot of stuff to do. Compared to Dexter's Diner and the Cantina, there's a lot more to do here. You can get in ships and fly around space, and even go to the Invisible Hand, which is another ship from the Clone Wars. There isn't as much to do here as there is on the other ship, but it's still pretty cool. Once you make your way to the main console, you'll find the level selection screen. There are 3 different stories to pick from: Grievous's, Dooku's, and Ventress's. They don't really specify which is the first one, so I decided to go with Grievous. They've added a lot of visual improvements to this game. Compared to the previous game, everything looks a lot more polished and clean. Some of it does look a bit weird though. Since this release in 2011, a lot of the minifigures look out of place. You have the old style and the new style mixing, and it just doesn't look right to me. One of the new mechanics is the new aim feature. Now you can aim your blaster or lightsaber and throw it wherever you want. With this feature, they are able to make more unique puzzles. The force ability was also changed. In the old games, you would just hold down a button and the object would move by itself. In this game, you can move it around by yourself freely. The flying levels in this game are upgraded too. Instead of it being an auto-scrolling level where you're in the ship the whole time, you get to move around wherever you want yourself. Now you can freely move around and get off on these docking stations where you can walk around the ships and stuff. I think it's a good idea, but it was poorly executed. When you're flying around, you don't have much to do for most of the level. You're just flying to and from docking stations, which, by the way, are a pain to go through. I don't know why, but I always have a problem trying to dock into these things. One change I do like, however, is the improved multiplayer. Instead of playing as a random character which isn't even in the scene, they split up the level between 2 different locations, so it ends up being a lot more entertaining for both players. In Dooku's story, there's these really cool defensive levels where you take over a base and build cannons, vehicles, and barracks. These are honestly probably my favorite levels in the entire game. I really like the laser tank and being able to command an army. I think this game is actually more unique than other LEGO games, even than the newer ones to this day. There are a lot of new gameplay elements that only ever appeared in this game. I love how they made the lightsabers more of a platforming tool, and how the clones have so many different abilities. One thing I do find kinda lackluster is the character selection. A lot of these characters just feel kinda lame. Most of the characters you unlock while playing through the game are just variants of clones. It was kinda cool at first to get all the different types, but it got stale pretty fast. But there's more to do than just the main game itself. There's also a multiplayer versus mode, which is the before mentioned strategy level where you fight an opponent. This is a really cool inclusion. It makes it far more replayable. This game is severely underrated. I never see anyone talk about it. Now, does that make this game better than the first one? No, but I still think it's a good time.
Oh, that's odd. What is going on? Get this out of here! I'm never playing another Lego game ever again. Oh!